Okay, we've got a 1975 Trillium 1300 travel trailer, and we needed to replace the axle on it. It has a torsion bar, suspension system here, and the torsion aspect of it had worn out and it was bottoming out and very rough ride, so we need to replace it. And in order to do that, you've got to separate the frame from the trailer. So I'm going to explain how we went about and did that. So the first step really was to support the whole trailer, and you did that by jacking up the frame. And I probably jacked it up a foot higher than what it normally would have been on the ground. And I used just simply some jack stands underneath either end at the side, and then of course at the front, just where the jack stand is there, just some blocks underneath there. So I got it up about a foot above what it would be normally. That's in order to get enough clearance to kind of lower the frame eventually when you get it to that point. Once you got that up, the second step then was to build something to support the cabin of the trailer in order to lower the frame. And so what I did is I constructed then two cribs, and then you're looking now at one of these cribs right here, and one would go under the front of the trailer and one under the back. And the cribs basically are just constructed of 6x6 timbers about 2 feet long. There's 4 of them, and then there's a piece of 2x8 by about 43.5 inches that sits on top. And the reason for that is that is what will fit underneath or between the frame underneath the trailer. So with those two underneath there, and then also removing the wheels off the trailer and removing disconnecting the propane lines and electrics at the front of the trailer, then basically then you lowered the actually, one other thing, you had to remove the 6 bolts holding the cabin to the frame. They came off fairly straightforward from underneath. Some of them broke, but that's not a problem. We're going to replace those. So we took that off, and then you lowered the frame. And the frame came down without too much difficulty. It separated quite cleanly, actually. So once it was down, then these cribs are now supporting your cabin, front and back, but they're in the way now to pull out the frame. So what you had to then do is put kind of the final supports in place, and that's what you're looking at right now. You've got these 6x6 timbers. They're about 10 or 11 feet long. There's 2 of them, one for the front and the back. So you slid them in over top of the frame and underneath the cabin of the trailer, and also sticking some shims in. I don't know if you can see it that well, but underneath there I had to kind of shim it to get so because there's a bit of a bulkhead here on the side, and just to support it evenly. So with that, you then support the cabin using these timbers, and when you've got that supporting it, then you can remove the crib assemblies from underneath the cabin. And so you remove both of them, and now you've got your frame on the ground, and we're able to pull the frame out, of course with the wheels off, and it pulled out quite readily. And of course with the jack up, you wanted as low a clearance as possible, and you pull it out. One key thing is, you'll note these trailers, at least the one I have, has this support for the spare tire, which sticks up, so you had to pull it out from the back end, so it was important to plan for that ahead of time. So that was what was involved. One final step is while we're working on the frame, we will lash, put some rope around here, sort of lashing these timbers to the trailer, just to kind of give it a little bit of security in case a big wind comes along. Hopefully it doesn't blow it away, because right now it's kind of precarious sitting there. If we did have some strong winds, it could blow off of that quite readily. All right, so anyway, that's the plan, or that's what we did. our plan is to carry on and finish with the axle now. But if you try this yourself, best of luck, and take care.